Hello, and you're welcome to Music Theory. We are still on the topic of time signatures. Like I said, this is a topic that requires extensive practice before you can master the concepts here. It's a very easy topic, but it can be a bit confusing for many people. So, what's a time signature? Well, like the name suggests, it is a signature. It is a set of two numbers that they have something they tell us about the music. So the top number will always tell us the number of beats in each bar. It tells us the number of beats in each bar. And then the bottom number tells us which note gets one beat. Okay, which note gets one beat. So we are going to look at some examples of time signatures. I'm sure we have already seen these in our music practicals, but now we want to put meaning to them. The first example we are going to look at is the 4/4. Now, like we said, the top number 4, it tells us there are 4 beats per measure. 4 beats per measure. Another name for a measure is a bar. So a measure can also be called a bar. So you can say it's 4 beats per measure or 4 beats per bar. And the bottom number tells us that the crotchet note gets one beat. Okay, we are going to see in a moment what this means, but it means the crotchet note gets one beat. Okay, and the next time signature we're going to look at is 3/4. I don't have to change the bottom number. So what will 3/4 tell us? We say the top number tells us the beats per measure, so the answer here will change. It will be 3 beats per measure or bar, and the 4 down still remains the same. The crotchet note gets one beat. And the last example for our level of music theory is 2/4. Okay, the 2 on top tells us that there are 2 beats per measure or per bar, and the bottom 4 tells us the crotchet note gets one beat. Okay, now let's go into looking at the examples of these time signatures. Okay, and the first one we are going to look at is 4/4. Like you can see here, we have a very simple tune that is laid out in mostly crotchets. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, and the next bar obeys the same, 1, 2, 3, 4, because this meaning it has 2 crotchets. It amounts to 2 crotchets, so that's why we have just the 2 crotchets and the meaning, because the meaning is a value of 2 beats in itself. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and again a meaning. Let's hear what this sounds like. What does 4/4 sound like? I'm sure that if you listen to the day-to-day music that we hear, you will hear this kind of pattern, because the time signature tells us of the underlying beat of a song. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, like we see in this very example. And the blue light, it clearly marks out for us where the 4 beats will be ending for each bar. So look at the blue light as I play it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that is an example of the 4/4 time signature. Let's look at the next example here. And this is for the 3/4 time signature. So we saw that the 4/4 is 1 2 3 4. Now what is 3 going to sound like? 3/4 will be 1 2 3 1 2 3. That's the underlying steady beat of that kind of time signature. Let's listen to what this tune sounds like. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Yeah, so as you heard, this is a 3/4 time signature. Now let's look at the characteristics here. We have 3 crotchets in the first bar, so it obeys the time signature. Yeah, 3 crotchets, and then we have a special note here, a dotted meaning. Now this dotted meaning, it tells us that there are 3 beats in this bar already, because when we look at the values, the dotted meaning is equal to 3 counts in itself. Yeah, so if it is alone in the bar, it is just enough, it is sufficient for it to go. So we're going to listen to this song one more time. Let me just correct something about it. Yes. Okay, now let's listen one more time. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Yeah, so you heard that the underlying beat for this one is 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, and this is a song that you probably have heard somewhere. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Yeah, okay, let's look at the next example in our time signatures. Okay, all right, and this time this is now in a bass clef. As you can see, the clef has changed, but the clef has no effect on the time signature. Yeah, so 2/4 time is what we are looking at here, and as we can see, there are 2 quavers in the first beat and the next 2 quavers in the second beat. Now the blue light will be showing us how these beats are arranged. Yeah, when you look at the blue light here, let's hear what this sounds like. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. This is fast. Yeah, let me first reduce its speed a little bit so we can follow very well. Okay, so one more time. The speed is 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. If you listen to the metronome, because here the blue light is now playing every note, but let's look at the metronome. Let me put the metronome a bit louder so you can hear the underlying steady beat of a song like this one. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. So the best way to handle this kind of time signature issues is you need to grow your eye to detectively look at every note in the capacity of a crotchet. Yeah, so that with your detective eyes of music theory, you'll be seeing these 2 as a crotchet. Yeah, and you'll be seeing these 2 as a crotchet, and you'll be saying, of course you can see this as a crotchet and that as a crotchet, but these 2 as a crotchet and these 2 as a crotchet. Yeah, so that's one skill you need to be able to have to thrive in time signatures, yeah, and beats. Okay, so one last listen of this song and then we move on to the next one. 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. So that's what 1 2 sounds like. And let's look at the last one now, which is the, okay, we have already looked at all 3 of them, by the way. We started with 4/4, then we looked at 3/4, and we looked just previously at 2/4. Now I just want us to look at some more complex patterns for these time signatures. There's some more complex patterns now. Like I explained in one of the lessons, this is also a crochet, right? Your eyes should register that as the value of a crochet bead, yeah. And this rest, when added together with that quiver, it forms a crochet too, yeah. So, and same thing here. So 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Yeah, so let's listen to what this song sounds like. But we already can see the time signature is 3/4, and assuming that time signature was not there, how would you know it's a 3/4? Well, I always told you, don't look at the first bar and the last bar. They can be confusing, but look at the middle bar and look for one bar that is full. Yeah, if there's a bar that does not have rests, that's the best one to look at. Now this is the best bar to look at. You can see 1 2 3. So the time signature is 3 crochet beats per bar. Yeah, and like I explained, when you put this rest with a quiver, that's 1 and then 2 and then 3. Yeah, now the first bar in this song is anacrustic. That means that there are some bits of it that are missing, yeah, that will probably be completed at the end of this song. Okay, now let's listen to what this sounds like. All right, we want to go slow and appreciate this. Here we go. Yeah, I guess you know that song. So that's a 3/4. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Yeah, all right. And another example of a complex kind of pattern for this time signature. Now this time we have a C. Do you remember what I said at the beginning? Yes, C is the same as 4/4. All right. So when you analyze this song, you should be able to see 4 beats in each measure. There is 1 2 3 and 4. And if I did not want to use the very starting bar, I can still use the middle one or the next one. Yeah, 1 2, and the minim has 2, so 3 4 are buried in this minim. Yeah, and the last one, 1 2 3 and 4. Yeah, so your detective eyes should be able to look at these beats and understand them in the value of a crochet. Okay, let's listen to this one. 1 2 3 4. Yeah, so you can see that was rather fast. Let me slow it down a bit so the tempo is lower. Okay, and we listen one more time. 1 2 3 4. 1 2 3 4. 1 2 3 4. 1 2 3 4. Yeah, so that's an example of a 4/4 complex rhythm. Yeah, and finally let's listen to a 3/4 complex rhythm. Now this is also another way that a crochet note can be presented. Yeah, it can be presented as triplets. Remember, we said these are called triplets. They are 3 notes, but when you add them together they make up one beat. Okay, and mathematically that is possible because each of them is a value of a third. When you multiply a third 3 times, you will get 1. Okay, so they are triplets and their value is 1 bit. All right, let's go into listening to this example. Let's hear what it sounds like. Okay, slowing it down a bit. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Oh, one more time. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Da-da. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. All right. So we have looked at the examples of these time signatures and seen some examples of the tunes there. Now our assignment today will be to do examples of questions that require you to fill in the time signature. Please find that in the attached document to this assignment. Thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or to comment in your private chat here, and I'll be able to respond. Bye bye, and see you next week.